hi guys. This will probably never go anywhere. It's probably just for me. But I feel like for maybe a year or so now, people online and my friends, maybe my family, have alluded to worrying about my alcohol intake. Some friends have been very forthcoming about worrying about my alcohol intake. And throughout all of it, I've been hyper aware of my alcohol intake. I'm a self-aware human anyway. I take pride and joy in knowing myself well, like as well as I possibly can, because I think that's where a lot of the growth and enjoyment of life comes from. So at no point when I'm drinking alcohol, and a lot of it, am I not aware of what's going on. And, you know, my mum, bless her, like, she died when she was 58, and we all worried about her alcohol intake growing up. She wasn't an alcoholic by any means. She didn't depend on it, but she did drink an awful lot. And after work, you know, at 4 or 5 o'clock every single night, there would be a lager by her side, by her chair, every single night. And it's a known thing in our family to just get together every Friday, every Saturday, every night we're together, we would drink. It's just such a normal thing. And whilst that's not an excuse, it's just a foundation and a bed for how I was brought up. It was just so normal to drink all the time. And I know my dad has struggled with similar things. He's had to really readjust and think about his relationship with alcohol, and he has a lot more respect for it now, I think. And only drinks, 1 or 2 glasses of red wine like a week, maybe not even that, maybe once a month or something. I don't know. It's not written in stone for him. But for me, it's been a vice, and it is a vice, and it has been for a while now. And as many of you know, I guess it's become a part of my working life too. I've now created a Booze Day Tuesday Twitch stream where I incorporate drinking alcohol into that, but it's become a big part of my life, and I can't really remember when it became a bigger part of my life than what is conceived as normal. But I went to LA with a couple of friends, I think at the end of 2019, maybe, yeah. And I can't deal with mosquitoes or mosquito bites. Like, I really struggle with them because I'm allergic to them. So when I get one, they blow up, and they're the most uncomfortable, inconceivably itchy, horrible, horrific things, and they take over my entire body, but also my brain. Like, I can't think of anything else. And for some reason, LA at this time had mosquitoes. So I was just miserable because I didn't realise that at the time. And I woke up in our Airbnb and was just bitten to shreds by mosquitoes. So my whole body was in bites, and I couldn't focus on anything else because I was so taken, like my brain was just taken up by how horrific everything felt. And my friends at the time had other things to get involved with and to do. So for the first week or so, or like the first 5 days, all I had to think about was that, and amongst other things like grief and loss, the things that are always the backdrop to my entire life. That was just how life was, and how I dealt with that clearly was alcohol. And this one particular day, me and Portia, I was in LA with me and my friend Portia and me and my friend Katie Sky, and me and Portia were going to go out on a drive somewhere, and it was in the afternoon, because apparently in the afternoon everything feels fine, but if it's the morning it's not fine. So in the afternoon we were gonna go out somewhere, and I started, like, I guess downing a bottle of wine just beforehand, just because it made life a bit more bearable. And when I say bearable, I just mean, like, it made it a bit different. It just, like, skewed the perspective a bit, and it made it a bit nicer and a bit more tolerable. It wasn't like I'm desperate to get away from this life. This life is horrific and I'm in so much emotional pain. It wasn't as desperate as that. It was more just like like any difference in feeling will be nicer than this. It was as simple as that. But anyway, it had been like that for a while, and I'm sure many of you that follow me and know me will know my Instagram stories and how much I drink, because a lot of people have commented on it in the past, so it can't be completely out of the blue. But anyway, so this one day I am drinking in the afternoon at like a lunchtime, and my friend Kat comes in, Katie Sky, and she notices me drinking in the afternoon a bottle of white wine, and she comments on it from nothing but a loving and friendly place. She's my, one of, if not my best friend. She understands my whole life leading up to that point and where I was. And she just questioned it. She just said, like, I've noticed you're drinking a lot. Like, why are you drinking in the day? And I blew up at her. I fully blew up at her. I did not take it well. And I stormed into my room and was just like, you don't have the... I can't remember what I said, to be honest. I fully blocked it out. But that was the first kind of situation, I guess, so far in the last couple of years where I've thought, it isn't just me noticing this anymore. It's extending to the people that care about me the most. And if people around me are noticing and are worried about my alcohol intake, this is not a good thing. And we finally patched it up. She felt so guilty. I felt guilty for shouting at her. It was a horrible time, but we sorted it out, of course, because that's what we do as friends. But since then, obviously I've been hyper aware of it, and it's been coming to a head even recently. I had a conversation with Dan, my bandmate, and he'd noticed how much I've been drinking over the pandemic and around that time when I was in LA, and just how much I was drinking. Apparently it's been just a common thread of conversation between my friends. Not like, they're all talking about me, nothing like that, but people that care about me and love me are aware of it, and they're probably scared to mention it, which I can totally understand. So it's been coming to a head, I guess, and moving to this recent place where I'm living with a lot more people, I'm drinking a lot more, like a lot more. Now that I'm not living alone, I'm living with people, there's a lot more excuses to put in the mix and be like, well, I'm seeing that person on Friday and I'm seeing that person on Saturday, so it just makes sense to drink all that time. And I've just made so many excuses to drink at this time and to have a booze day Tuesday at this time, and like cider Sundays. Like, I'll make anything up in my head that validates why I'm drinking, but it's always felt wrong. It's always felt like something that doesn't feel good for me. And after Dan said it, like on the weekend or whenever we were doing Meadowlark stuff last, I've been aware of it. Like I said, I've been hyper aware of it. And so this evening I ordered myself a bottle of wine, and I had one last night, even though I'm ill at the moment. I've got a cold. And I was like, Kate, you don't need alcohol. You got a cold. You're ill. Like, that's the last thing you need. I ordered a bottle of wine last night, and that just went like, nothing to it. Didn't feel anything from it. I say feel anything from it as in, like, I felt the nice tipsy feeling, which is what I aim for every time I go for it. but that was kind of it. And then I felt similarly, I guess, today, and got a bottle of wine at like 5, 6-ish, drank all of that, and then at 7, 8-ish, I got another bottle of wine, and I'm in the throes of drinking that, and I don't know, maybe it's my personal limit. My personal limit has always been 1 bottle of wine a night, and that's what's felt like personally okay. I don't know what it is. You make so much shit up in your head that makes everything feel okay. But tonight when I got 2 bottles, because 1 didn't feel enough, after I've drank every single day for the last however many days, I don't even know, just felt a bit too far for me personally. So I'm just here, like, documenting this moment. It doesn't feel great. I feel embarrassed and ashamed. The emotion isn't here right now, like, as I'm saying it. If I've been voice noting my friend, and I rang my dad about 10-15 minutes ago. I woke him up, which I feel so guilty for. Just telling him, and I was bawling my eyes out then. But I guess as I'm telling you guys now, there's not much emotion coming out of me. But I am so ashamed and I'm so embarrassed, and this is horrible. This doesn't feel like something I'd have to ever deal with. I don't think I guess it's not alcoholism in the normal form that you see it. It's not, I'm not dependent on it when I wake up, but it is at a point where if my friends and family don't see it as something that's good for me and are noticing it, and now I am noticing it, and I'm stumbling over words when I'm talking to my family, and I'm stumbling over words when I'm voice noting my friends, like, it's embarrassing, and it makes me feel horrific, and it's not who I want to be. I know I'm better than this, but it's a weird one. I don't, like, my normal everyday life is not bad. I don't know why there would be some part in me that's trying to escape it. I don't know why I would be like, I'm going to get some wine because this moment right here is so horrific, so I'm going to try and escape it, because it doesn't feel like that. My life's fine. It's wonderful, but for some reason I always want to go to another level. I always want to feel tipsy or nice or mellow or a bit relaxed or a bit tired. I always just want to feel something else. And I don't know why, because people have it so much worse, you know? Like, my life really isn't bad. Why am I trying to somehow escape it every night by drinking? So there's so much I'm trying to understand. There's so much I'm trying to figure out in the logical, analytical brain that I can't. But this is just how it is. I'm just documenting it. This is the truth. I don't know where I'm going from here. But I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed. And I'm just embarrassed most of all. Embarrassed, why? Because I guess you always you see things like this as something other than you. You see it as separate from you. You see it as something that you would never fall into. You see it as something that's not a problem. You see it as something that, like, oh, I drink a lot of alcohol, but that could never affect me. All of that stuff. And, you know, like, I pride myself on being someone who is a good friend and a good sister and knows themselves well enough and knows how to deal with life and can go through the worst bits of life and get through it. I pride myself on being emotionally intelligent, and yet I've somehow got to a point where I'm not emotionally intelligent enough to stop putting liquid in my mouth every night. And that feels embarrassing. That's the only thing I'm good at, is knowing myself well and dealing with my own shit. It's the only thing I'm good at. Okay, that's not being kind to myself. I know I'm good at other stuff, but it's what I pride myself on being best at, is knowing myself well and dealing with the shit things well. And yet there seems to be this common thread of just dealing with things terribly. And I've been doing that for years and years and years and years and years. And now it's coming to a point where I'm like, hang on a minute. Yeah, okay, you've been dealing with the emotions coming up every day. You've been dealing with the loss of your mum and an ex-boyfriend or whatever else. But there's been this constant thread of alcohol throughout it, and you've not done anything about it. And now it's at a point where you don't want to tell people about it because you're so ashamed and embarrassed. Like, I don't know. That's where I'm at now. I'm confused. I don't know how I've let it get this far. I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed. I don't know how many times I can say that, but it's the truth. And yeah. Okay. The end. Just documenting. Goodbye.